This month, Hempfield Happenings has been brought to Bethlehem, PA. Over 250 years ago, the Moravian Church bought land off the Lehigh River. Since then, stories of freedom in the so-called Christmas City have been created. Hempfield Happenings has the opportunity to hear these voices and stories. Everything has a price, even freedom. Liv Anderson visited the many memorials around Bethlehem to find out more about those who made the ultimate sacrifice.
Bethlehem is the home of many war memorials which demonstrate what it took to achieve their freedom. Behind me is the tomb of the unknown soldier, where one of over 500 Revolutionary War soldiers were buried. There are many veterans within Bethlehem. I had the chance to meet with one who shares the importance of appreciating all that they've done for the country.
I'm a veteran, so I spent 4 years in the Marine Corps. When I wear my veteran's hat, people always come up to me and say thank you for your service, and which is really nice that all of a sudden people are starting to realize what the veterans, which I think is a good thing, have done for their country. You know, when you think of even those veterans, even before me, that were in the Second World War or whatever, I think really that's why we have our freedom today, and you are able to talk here today because of what the veterans did. And a lot of people may not realize that, what they've just taken it for granted, which is, I mean, how many young 19-year-old, 18-year-olds went over to Germany or wherever, it never came home. But I think if they realize, because of them, we are here today.
Ronald Reed, a former history teacher and current city tour guide, talked about Bethlehem's history with U.S. wars.
Well, Bethlehem was founded on Christmas Eve in 1741. That's how they eventually decided to call themselves the Christmas City. It was founded by Moravians who came from Germany, and they settled here to become missionaries, both for the local Native American population, the Lenni-Lenape tribe, and also for the large German population. During the Revolutionary War, they served as a hospital center. The Moravians were pacifists, so they didn't participate directly in the war. A large number of revolutionary soldiers died here. There's a large mass revolutionary grave site near this location.
Whether past or present, Bethlehem honors all those who made the ultimate sacrifice for others' freedom. For Hempfield Happenings, I'm Liv Anderson.
Bethlehem, PA is filled with rich history. Sullivan Fogel went to see how the people of Bethlehem exercise their freedom to access this information.
Between its ties to the beginnings of America and its unique industrial history, Bethlehem, Pennsylvania has a great amount of stories to tell. Those stories are told through museums such as this one, which give the freedom of knowledge to the people of the city. The museums of Bethlehem provide people with the freedom to access a wide range of history on both the local and national levels. The National Museum of Industrial History is one such museum, which explains Bethlehem's role in the nation's industrial era, as Curator of Collections Andrea Zaya explains.
The National Museum of Industrial History, we opened in 2016 in the summer, and we showcase a number of different collections. We have a very sizable Smithsonian artifact collection on display pertaining to the 1876 Centennial Exposition. We also have an iron and steel gallery. As you can see from our surroundings, we are right in the middle of the former Bethlehem plant site of the Bethlehem Steel Corporation. So we do see ourselves as the historical anchor of this campus. We also have a silk gallery, so textiles were a huge industry in this region as well. I mentioned before, we do see ourselves as the historical anchor. We can help interpret what was going on this site, and there's a lot of history here, memory spaces. It means a lot to the cultural identity, to the community identity of Bethlehem and the surrounding region. And there are a lot of stories from within this site, from the workers and innovation that they had to, solve a problem on a daily basis. We talked to a lot of steelworkers who tell us that it was a challenging job and it was unique. They loved the job, the work, because it was always about finding a solution to a challenge on that every single day. So the National Museum of Industrial History does that, but we also help to inspire future generations, because it's this idea of being able to pass on that knowledge and to the next generation, that you too can be an innovator and you too can find solutions to big problems and change the world.
The other museum, the Khmer Museum of Decorative Arts, allows residents to enjoy their freedom to learn about all kinds of history through collectibles, antiques, and other day-to-day objects. Volunteer Dean Kochik has given tours here for months and explains the appeal of the museum.
Annie Kemmerer was interested in the decorative arts, antiques. She had small collections and like that, and she wanted to make sure that going forward that would be preserved and people can come and see that. And well, I think history is important. I think you have to have a good feeling for where you've been, and that'll dictate where you're going. I think you build on history, you learn from history, you use history as a guide, because history is a good predictor of future things. What happened X number of weeks ago or X number of months or years ago, there's a good possibility that that could happen again in the future. So when you go to a museum, it's a time capsule. It's moments in time that are captured that you can see for all eternity going forward.
For Hemfield Happenings, I'm Sullivan Fogel.
Thank you for tuning into this episode of Hemfield Happenings. We hope you enjoyed this episode and got to learn more about the town of Bethlehem. We'll see you next month on Hemfield Happenings.